Welcome to our first episode of Noob vs. Pro, where a relatively new player and an experienced player make a build for the same skill with the same budget cap. Today's randomizer has decided that today's challenge will be Rage Vortex of Berserking. First up, we've got our noob who is a Death Oath main. And here's some proof that we've got an actual noob. Our expert plays every class in the game, has a minimum of 6 builds per league, and creates multi-mirror builds. Now let's see what these two can do. Starting off with the unique gear, we have a replica for rules for the aspect of the cat's mod, and an almost perfect roll on the life. Corrupted Dark Ray vectors for the endurance charges, and we have an Abyssus with max roll attributes. Our jewelry consists of a set ring with max life and accuracy rating, and an open spot to craft aspect of the cat. It was much cheaper than buying one that already had it. The second ring will just have strength, life, and resists. Both rings will have a crafted -6 to total mana cost. I got really lucky and got a mirrored amulet with max life, 96% lightning res, and 70% chaos res. The downside was reduced evasion rating, which doesn't affect me at all since I take unwavering stance. Nothing special about the gloves, just life, flat dexterity and armor, and resists. Belt also had flat strength and int, some life, and resists. Lastly, the weapon. I am ashamed to say that I tried learning to craft and wasted some money doing that. I finally ended up buying a 30 quality weapon with increased fizz damage, accuracy rating, flat fizz damage, increased attack speed, and crafted crit strike chance. For the flask, I used a basic life flask, amethyst, silver, quicksilver, and diamond flask. All utility flasks have the used when charges reach full enchant, since I will not be using Mage Blood. Two main skills for this build are, of course, Rage Vortex of Berserking and Flicker Strike. I'm fairly new to the game, and there's no way I could come up with a build on my own. I did take inspiration from a POB I found. All POBs, including my own, used in this video will be linked below. This build did use Mage Blood, which was out of the budget, so I had to tweak some stuff for it to work. While I was trying to set up this build, I ran into issues with mana, which I had not foreseen in the POB that I created for myself. I did eventually realize that I activated haste, which was my big mistake. I didn't realize that for my build to work, I had to ignore haste and only use the Vol version. But once I had that figured out, everything seemed to flow nicely. My build is squishy. That being said, I was doing maps with monster level that were higher than what I was, but either way it was pretty squishy and I could not find it in me to level it any higher than 86. Despite only reaching 86, I was running T15s, although without a few more upgrades I would most likely be stuck at 86. I did have to be careful with mods because pretty much everything hurt. So my overall thoughts on Rage Vortex, it's a fairly cheap build to put together, and it is visually appealing to see the vortex around you. Combined with the flicker strike that just has you flicking around the screen, is definitely visually appealing. But that being said, as I mentioned before, it's squishy. You can definitely spend more money on it to make it tankier, but most likely it will not be able to do much endgame content, at least not comfortably. I do think there are better builds out there that are far smoother, but this whole challenge was still fun, and I love doing off-meta stuff. Now Let's go see what our pro has been up to.
Hello, this is Diabetosaurus. I don't think I'm a pro, but I have been playing for a long time, so I've made a build or two or 100. Gonna be going over our Rage Vortex of Berserking Berserker character for this challenge we did. Just getting into it, going over the gear. I have Rakiata's Dance because this league, Mercenary League, they introduced the rune graphs. There's a rune graph of Treachery that applies your auras to the enemies. So you run Purity of Elements, increasing all the enemies' elemental resists, and Rakiata's Dance inverts those resistances, so you get a bunch of elemental penetration for free. It's a very inexpensive rune graft, and Rakiata's is not very expensive either. So that was the weapon of choice and the primary method for scaling damage with this setup. The other uniques incorporated into the build are Yoke of Suffering, mostly for the increased damage taken for each type of ailment on the enemy. This is a Trinity build, so we're applying a lot of different ailments, get a lot of value out of Yoke. Allocates Berserking just for more rage or Rage Vortex sustain. We're using Admiral's Arrogance, mostly for the rage, maximum rage on hit. It helps a lot with keeping the uptime on the skill. The attack speed is nice and the melee skill gem levels are okay, but it's mostly for the rage sustain. I went with Headhunter, fairly inexpensive Mercenaries League again. It's just fun for mapping. You get a lot of damage and defenses when you kill a lot of rare monsters. All the other gear is rare just for life, resistances, attributes. Nothing too fancy. Flasks, nothing special. Taste of Hate just for some physical damage converted to cold, and extra physical is cold. Jewels, you can find them all in the POB. There was nothing too fancy in there. I stole Hinakora from Chieftain for the explosions because it's fun, and they were cheap. Overall, the build was fast and fun, but it had weak defenses and poor single target. It excelled in maps with lots of rare monsters for the Headhunter stacks. It was enjoyable to play and had nice clear speed with the Chieftain explosions combined with the Herald explosions. I wouldn't recommend Rage Vortex in general, but if you like how it looks and plays, you can definitely make it work.
And there you have it, the ultimate showdown between our noob and pro. We saw both our noob and expert tackle the same skill with different strategies. It's clear that experience and technique can make a difference, but it's not impossible to put something together without the experience. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned player, there's always something to learn or new to try. Think you can do better? Share your builds and tips in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.